Block Ram 313 back at it again because you know this is Therapeutic Man. Back again with another therapy session, another video. Today's topic and title is why she cheats on her husband or boyfriend. Or we can say why she cheats on her husband with her boyfriend. Jumping right into it. In thinking about this topic and this subject, I realized that many of us are not privy to the conversations that women have amongst each other in private settings. For example, when your wife or your girlfriend goes out with some of her former high school or college friends, girls' night out, they sit around the dinner table and talk about their lives, their jobs, and their husbands, celebrity gossip and such. The convo then turns naughty. They begin to first talk about the celebrity men that gives them tingles below, then to the men at work, at the gym, and so on that gives them the tingles also. So sitting around the table sharing stories and thoughts about their attractions to other men, even some possible infidelities. Now amongst the crowd, amongst the friends, there's always a woman who may be considered conservative or a prude. Now, as a man, we all would like to believe that if we have a relationship, that our woman is the conservative one, she is the prude, she is the good girl amongst all the naughty ones, right? But at the table, when the others are talking and laughing, they will say to the prude, to the conservative woman, let's call her Jenny. They'll say, Jenny, tell us a story. We want to know what makes you tingle. Jenny laughs and says, no, I'm not involved in anything like that. And they say, come on, Jenny. She then says, well, there is this one guy. Girl, when I see him at work, he just sends chills up my spine, girl. He spoke to me the other day and I almost lost it. I would never trust myself alone with him. Now, this is natural and expected for a woman, even a married woman, to be attracted to a man, another man. We're human, right? But why would she make the statement that she wouldn't even trust herself alone with this man? Question. We'll answer that later. I had a former friends with benefits who once told me that she didn't trust herself. She didn't trust herself around me. And when I asked why, she said that she didn't have the strength to resist me. Now, although she had a boyfriend, she still didn't have the strength for resistance. So she said she wouldn't want to see me. See, they know that they are cheaters. They know. And a certain type of man can bring that out. Sure, they may repress it or suppress it for the 5'4" guy, the 5'8" guy, the overweight guy, the guy that's a janitor. Sure, they'll repress it for him. But there's a certain type of man that can bring that out of her, those cheating impulses. Now, in the past, I would pull it. I would see if a woman would go if she had a boyfriend. I'm not proud of this. This is indeed wrong. But for the sake of the conversation, when I'd get a woman who has a boyfriend or a woman who is married, when I would get her alone, as I pulled her underwear down, she'd giggle and say, what you doing? You know I got a boyfriend, right? You know I'm married, right? But I would proceed to pull down the underwear. And once we were finished, she'd say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. See, she don't trust herself. She didn't trust herself. Jenny wouldn't trust herself. She doesn't trust herself because they know in their heart of hearts that when the opportunity presents itself, more than likely she will give in into the temptation and cheat. Why would she resist? Oh yes, she pretends to be moral. She pretends to be loyal. Pretends. And oh yeah, gentlemen, take note of this. The workplace is Grand Central Station for her cheating. People spend the majority of their time there. She sees her coworker, that attractive male, more than you. At my job, I've heard about many wives being banged out by their so-called work husbands, their co-workers, on the lunch break, doing the fake overtime that she claims that she has been mandated to work. Or when she calls in from work and supposedly should be at work, she is with him. Not proud of this. I have participated in such. Dealing with married women, women who have boyfriends. No pride there. I'm just exploring, speaking of the observation of their nature. See, Western culture provides for her the ability to act out her feminist, her hypergamous, and her promiscuous nature without restraint. Again, to act out her hypergamous, promiscuous behavior without restraint, responsibility, accountability, and any repercussions of the sort. In fact, now, she is even rewarded for such behavior. Rewarded through alimony, rewarded through child support, welfare, and rewarded by the many simps who worship her no matter what. Therefore, it is more than difficult for the average female to maintain any chastity, to have any integrity or loyalty in regards to being with just one man. Almost unheard of. Now I have an article here that I'm going to cite. The article is loosely tied to the subject in which I'm speaking, but there is a correlation, and I'm going to tie that in briefly and shortly. But this article is from the Daily Mail, published January of 2017 by Khalida Rahman. The title of the article is, "So How Many is Too Many? Experts Reveal the Number of Sexual Partners You Have Had Could Determine How Likely You Are to Divorce." Now again, I'm going to tie this into cheating briefly and shortly, but let me read this article first before we make our correlations. Quote, "A study has found how the number of sexual partners you've had could determine whether your marriage will last." Of course, we know this speaking about the female. Nicholas Wolfinger, professor of family and consumer studies at the University of Utah, studied statistics from the Center of Disease Control and Prevention's National Survey of Family Growth going back as far as the 1970s. He looked at divorce rates after 5 years of marriage and the number of sexual partners American women had before tying the knot. The study found that for women marrying since 2000, those with 10 or more partners, that's the year 2000, those with 10 or more partners were the most likely to divorce. But Professor Wolfinger says this has only become true in recent years. The highest 5-year divorce rates of all the associated with marrying in the 2000s and having 10 or more premarital sex partners, 33%, he wrote in the report, Perhaps it is not unexpected that having many partners increases the odds of divorce, and women who were virgins on their wedding night were the least likely to get divorced, according to the study. It found only 5% of women who had 0 sexual partners had marriages that ended in divorce. Professor Wolfinger explained the findings by noting that one of the most common reasons for abstinence before marriage was for religious reasons. He said women who marry as virgins were far more likely to attend church at least once a week. These findings make sense in light of the fact that people who attend church frequently have lower divorce rates than non-participants, he added. Now, moving along to another article that ties this article in with cheating spouses, particularly the woman who cheats. And this article is from WordPress, XSplat WordPress. And the title of this article, and it's very, very brief. This will be a very, very brief reading. The date of this is about 5 years ago. The title of this article, very short, is Causation or Correlation. Women with higher partner counts divorce and cheat more. Quote, there have been many posts, articles, and forum discussion about the mathematical link between how many previous partners a woman has had and the likelihood that a marriage will end in divorce within 5 years. There are also graphs that show her likelihood to cheat. The correlation is stark. Virgins are less likely to divorce or cheat. And the higher the partner count, the greater the risk for both. Amazing, isn't it? The automatic conclusion for most men is therefore that for the life satisfaction in a long-term relationship, get a faithful woman, and get a faithful woman, get a woman with a lower partner count or the lowest partner count as possible, close quote. Now let's think about that for a minute. Hasn't Black Ram 313 been saying that for years? Hasn't Black Ram been talking about female promiscuity and the dangers behind it? Hasn't Black Ram 313 been speaking of in many videos, talking about the body count, the partner count of the female? Now we can see even scientifically why it is a dangerous thing to deal with a modern promiscuous female. Not only is she more likely to get divorced based upon her body count, but she is more likely to cheat on you. The used vag needs to be used again and again. Shocking, isn't it? For a blue pillar, yes. Red pillars, no. Many of us have been saying this for years. I have a video called Why Her History is Important. And important it is. Now, moving along. Here are 6 reasons, 6 theories from Black Ram, 6 reasons behind her infidelity. You know, I like to look at the soul and beneath the surface of a thing. Here are my observations. Here are my thoughts behind the likelihood that your wife or your girlfriend will cheat on you. Reason number 1. She actually feels insecure if she has just one man. If the current man leaves, she fears being single, even if it's for a short time. This is the reason why almost no woman is really single. They're always dealing with a man in some capacity, even if there is no physical intimacy. She needs male attention and validation at all times. Without such, she feels worthless. Now, they will not admit to this, but we know it is indeed true. Number 2, my theories. Monogamy for her means that she has one guy. This is the definition of monogamy for her. It means that she has one guy that she sleeps with, but maybe several guys that she talks to for attention, for emotional support, for money. Several guys that she talks to, one of which may fix her sink for her. One to take her to dinner. One to be her therapist. And most of all, she must have a man around who she knows is attracted to her. She has to have that. She has to feel wanted by not one man, but multiple men. This is where she derives her value and self-worth. Number 3, one man's attention, which correlates to number 2, one man's attention is simply not enough. Physical intimacy from one man is simply just not enough. She desires experiences. As I said before, she doesn't like a man. She loves men. Plural. Number 4, her husband at home, the man of the house. He is simply a utility. He protects. He provides. He takes care of the house and the kids. But she isn't turned on by her personal slave. She is with him for the financial security, for the normalcy that it brings. She's with him because of societal expectation. She's with him for the comfort and convenience of such. Beta, bucks, alpha, you know what. Now she needs at least 3 men in her life. At least 3. Even if she's a good girl, she needs at least 3 men in her life. 1 for intimacy, 1 for money, and a spare. Because being alone, for any reason at any time, for her it is indeed hell. Cannot stand her own company. A social creature who needs relationships, who is relationship centered, who is lost, lonely, without your attention, validation, and the like. Number 5 of my 6 theories behind why she's a cheater. Cheating for the female is a state of mind. No man can make her cheat. We know it's her very nature to blame others for her conscious decisions. But one doesn't simply become a cheater. You are a cheater. The desire to do such is already within her. The question remains, is this desire innate? Is it in all of them or most of them? You be the judge. Number 6 and final. She cheats because she claims to be unfulfilled. She constantly judges you by the relationships that her friends have with their boyfriends and husbands. She judges you as a man based on the relationships that she sees on television. She wants the power coupling of Jay-Z and Beyonce. She often feels unfulfilled because she sees so much going on around her. Her friend got a $4,000 wedding ring. Yours is only valued at $2,000. Her friends went on exotic vacation on their honeymoon. You just went to Vegas. Her friends, the husband and wife, they have a big house. Yours is small. Her husband drives a BMW. The wife drives a Lexus. You drive a Volvo, and your wife drives a Toyota. She seeks pleasure elsewhere. She is hypergamous. She wants to trade up. She's looking for new opportunities to monkey branch, to find the better deal. Never content, never satiated with the current state of her marital union. Her favorite word is more. See, the creature, again, is never satisfied. Looking for more at your expense. Demanding everything of you and nothing of herself. Miss Goddess. So she must cheat, for she seeks the pleasure that it brings. Again, the society promotes her promiscuity. And the more partners that she has had, the likely she is to cheat, according to the study. Due to her vast experiences with multiple men, she is overstimulated. Thus, she needs new guys to date and for entertainment, for new intimate experiences. Here's a key word. If your woman, let me put you up on some game, Jack. If your woman ever says that she is bored, or if a woman ever says to you, even before you're in a relationship with her, that she gets bored quick, that's key word, key phrase for a natural cheater. Again, cheating is not what you become, it's what you are. And that's an indicator when a woman says that, she is a cheater, man. Now, how can you trust a creature that loves variety? Trust a creature that is never satisfied? Men, we are a joke. You are delusional for seeking virtues in her, such as loyalty and chastity. Go run along and look for a unicorn. Now someone, a blue pillar or succubus, will come in the comment section and say, why can't a woman have multiple men if a man can have multiple women? I'm not going to even argue with that. But I will say just a few things. Mama's baby, daddy's maybe is one reason. Another reason, an old saying. A key that can open up many locks is called a master key. A lock that can be opened by any key is a crappy lock. Another reason, you ever heard of microchimerism? The scientific finding, the scientific finding that every man that a woman has slept with, she retains the DNA in her brain even after death of all of the men she's laid down with. I've talked about that at length. Another reason, the internal design. Don't you care about what goes up in you? Shouldn't that be different? Ours is on the outside, yours is on the inside. Shouldn't you be more cautious? You have a whole doctor that you have to see regularly just to check on that thing. Yours is indeed different from mine. Not to mention the mental, the emotional consequences that comes along with promiscuity. And most of all, which you do not care about, but I'm going to say it anyway. Most of all, which you don't care about. Why a woman can't do what a man can do. is the law of Yah, which calls what you do adultery and fornication. Not for us if the woman is single. But I know you care not about his laws. So you can even strike that from the record. Many of you care not. And that's fine. But these are the reasons why she will most likely cheat on you. My theories. Black Ram 313, and I'm out.